Though the Rings of Power is truly sprawling in its scope, it is also a series that focuses a great deal on its various characters. These are individuals who, in one way or another, do what they can to forge their own destinies and, very often, that of their people as a whole. One of the great strengths of this series is that it gives all of its characters their own sets of motivations. Thus, it's worth taking a closer look at them, using the Zodiac as a guide to further explore various aspects of their personality. 12 Aries Aronder. There are few signs more driven to succeed than the Aries. Headstrong and a bit stubborn, they are the types of people who will always take charge in a given situation. These are traits that Aronder has in abundance, as he shows throughout his time in the series. Even when he is held captive by the orcs, he is not going to let anyone keep him from doing what is right. And, as he also demonstrates, he is the type of person who will take charge to make sure everything goes as such, much like an Aries would. 11 Taurus. Durin. The Taurus is one of the most reliable of the earth signs. Solid and dependable, the Taurus is also one of the most hardworking of the signs. As a dwarf, these are traits that Durin has in abundance. What's more, like most of his people, he also has a stubborn streak to him, which he reveals in some of his first exchanges with Elrond. At the same time, he also shows that, like many other dwarves, he is also a good person to have as a friend. 10 Gemini. Poppy. The Gemini is one of the most dynamic of the air signs, and they can always be counted on to have a good time. At the same time, they are also known for their duality, and they are frequently able to show a different side of themselves in varying circumstances. Poppy, the Harfoot who is best friend to Nori, exhibits many of the signs of the Gemini. While she is often very bubbly and cheerful, there is also a deep well of feeling in her, and it's clear that she has endured quite a lot of tragedy during her young life. 9 Cancer. Elendil. Like the rest of the water signs, Cancer is quite devoted to those that matter to them. Once they decide to take someone to their heart, there can be no better or more loyal friend. Elendil, as one of those Númenóreans who has remained faithful to the elves rather than turning away from them, shows many of the traits associated with this sign. Just as importantly, he is also very faithful to his family, even though his son Isildur does tend to strain his patience. 8 Leo. Galadriel. Few signs are more dynamic and powerful than the Leo. They seem to command everyone and everything around them, and this is very true of Galadriel. She was, of course, one of the best characters in Lord of the Rings, and she is even more dynamic in the Rings of Power. Like most Leos, she knows what she wants, and she will let nothing stand in her way. Though this might rub some around her the wrong way, it is also what makes her one of the series' most formidable characters. 7 Virgo. Gil-galad. The elves are, of course, one of the most notable races in Tolkien's legendarium, and they wield a significant amount of power. During the events of the Rings of Power, they are led by Gil-galad, who displays many of the traits associated with Virgos. He has a logical and sensible approach to ruling the elves, and his gift of foresight allows him to see those things which others can't. At the same time, he also does display some of the native stubbornness that is also a very important aspect of the Virgo personality. 6 Libra. Elrond. In both The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, Elrond shows himself to be one of the most intelligent characters. Though he is much younger during the events of the Rings of Power, he still shows many of the signs of the judiciousness with which he will be associated during the Third Age. In this sense, he is also cut very much in the mold of many other Libras, and this is especially evident in his commitment to justice and peace in Middle-earth. And despite his appearance of stoicism, Elrond clearly values his friendships, both with Galadriel and Durin, placing great value in his ability to connect with others. 5. Scorpio. Theo the Scorpio is one of the more mysterious of the water signs. There is always something about them that hints at a sinister aspect, but they are also endowed with quite a lot of charisma. Theo, the young son of Bronwyn, already shows many of the aspects of this sign. In particular, there is something quite compelling about him, even as he finds himself drawn to the darkness. Like so many other Scorpios, there is far more to him than meets the eye. 4. Sagittarius. Dissa. One can always count on the Sagittarius to be the life of the party. Anytime they are present, they just seem to spread joy around them. From the moment she appears, this is also true of the dwarf queen Dissa. She is always welcome to offer a welcoming hand to anyone, particularly Elrond. However, no one should confuse her kindness for simplicity. Like many of the other Sagittarians, she possesses keen intelligence, and she isn't someone that can be easily fooled or deceived. 3. Capricorn. Pharazim. There are many important and beautiful locations in the Lord of the Rings, and the same is true of the Rings of Power. Of particular note is the island of Numenor. One of the most notable characters to dwell here is Pharazim, who immediately shows that he has some of the key traits associated with the Capricorn. As is the case with many others born under this earth sign, he is quite ambitious, and he has a vision of what he thinks the island should look like, and he will do what he can to bring it into being. 2. Aquarius. Halbrand. Few signs are quite as enigmatic as the Aquarius. They are often quite brilliant people, but they tend to keep some elements of themselves hidden from others. Both of these traits are displayed by Halbrand, the man that Galadriel joins with before they are both rescued by Elendil and his fellow Númenóreans. It's clear from everything about him that he is intelligent, if not a little cold, but he also doesn't want to open up to anyone, even Galadriel. What's more, he is also very self-reliant, another key trait associated with the Aquarius. 1. Pisces. Nori. Pisces is the sign that is most often associated with empathy and emotion. In the Rings of Power, these are traits that are very much in evidence with Nori, the young Harfoot who clearly cares very deeply about others. After all, she is the one who decides to take the stranger under her wing, even though she doesn't know just who he is or what he intends. Because she is so in touch with the feelings of others, Nori is also able to look outside of the usual mindset of her people. Join Amazon Prime. Watch thousands of movies and TV shows anytime. Start free trial now.